Hey guys, it's Marmot and Mink. We're back again today with another podcast. We are on Reddit relationship advice again, and we've already picked 4 threads that we thought had interesting titles and have not yet read them, so we're gonna go ahead and read through these again and give some input.
Yeah, all right. We're gonna start with this one that's I, 25 female, think my boyfriend, 26 male, is paying unnecessary attention to my friend, 28 female. Should I be worried? You want to go ahead and read it?
Yeah. Okay, says, I've been dating my boyfriend Brian for about 5 months. I introduced him to my friend Kayla, and ever since I introduced them, I get a weird feeling that he's interested in talking and paying attention to her more while we're hanging out. For example, if we're eating snacks and he has a bag of chips, he'll offer her some first, then he'll offer to me. If we're at the table eating, he'll pass her stuff before me. When we have planned to hang out, he'll get 3 bottles of pop, and when he comes over while talking to her, he'll tell her that he brought us all pop and give her one first. I notice that while we're hanging out with friends, I always offer him stuff first, then to everyone else. I'm always paying attention to him first. That's why I noticed how he always offers her everything first. I waved it off as him just being courteous, but the other day, all 3 of us were hanging out. Brian's best friend Trevor calls him. When Trevor asks him what he is doing, my boyfriend looks at my friend and says, hanging out with Kayla and Liz. This is what threw me off and made me feel weird. Why would he mention her first rather than me, his girlfriend? His friend Trevor doesn't know who Kayla is, but he knows who I am. Why would my boyfriend mention that he's hanging out with her first and look at her? I felt that was disrespectful, and I know it's going to sound stupid, but it made me feel not special. Not that I want to feel special all the time, that's not reasonable. But it made me feel unimportant to him, like he was excited to tell his friend Trevor that he's hanging out with Kayla. I trust my friend Kayla completely, and I know she has absolutely no interest in my boyfriend, so I know nothing would ever happen. But am I overreacting? Am I reading too much into it? I don't want to be with a guy that makes me feel sad and not important when we're hanging out with my friends, but I don't know if I'm overreacting over it either. Sorry for the long post. Thanks in advance.
So, I think first what I thought when you were reading it was, I immediately thought of that. I don't know if it's like a rule or something, but when people are talking to each other and one points their feet at a person when they're interested versus pointing their feet away when they're not. I don't know, that was the first thing I thought of.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it was more when a couple is together or someone's together. Maybe that's true too. But like if you're upset with somebody, you turn away.
Right. It's just like body language, but
yeah.
like projecting that onto everything else that's going on here. So I don't know. What do you think? Is she overreacting, or is she, does she have something genuinely to be concerned about?
Honestly, I mean, it's tough because she did mention the possibility at first that she thought he was just being courteous, like it's almost like, hey, we have a guest over, like we're being polite to her. But I could see if it was happening all the time, not just when they were over to visit or when Kayla was over to visit, but like all the time, I'd probably be a little concerned about it too. Especially the phone call thing, is a little odd, like hanging out with Kayla and Liz, saying her name first. And I don't know. I mean, the fact that seems to happen all the time, like offering the other girl first, I guess I'd be kind of, if not concerned, I'd at least feel hurt by it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd want to be first as well. Right.
No, I totally agree. Like, especially if my friend or, like, my family doesn't know who this new friend is. Like, I wouldn't say Kayla first. I would say, what's her name? Liz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm with Liz and her friend or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see.
Another thing that I thought at first, I don't know if this is fair or not, but I saw that it says they've been dating for about 5 months, which, is pretty early in the relationship. So I don't want to, make assumptions there, but I guess that would feel a little bit more concerning that early on as well, at least in my perspective, maybe. If it was that fresh into the relationship, I'd be a little worried, like, oh, is he more into her now or something, and this early on, maybe there's more likely to be issues. I'm not sure.
I guess so, since they don't really have like a relationship that's all that developed yet, maybe.
Right. So
I don't know. It's not to say that they couldn't have like a serious relationship, but
I totally
but
agree.
I guess I get what you're saying.
I'm just saying that would be something that to me early on I'd be more sensitive to, because you're still kind of in that stage where you're like, is he committed to me fully?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I don't. It's hard to say, because like I don't at one point I think that maybe she's overreacting a bit, like he's trying to be courteous, but the fact that he always, like, it seems to be in every scenario, and of course we can't know, but in every scenario he seems to put Kayla, the best friend, first, is kind of weird. And I also think it's interesting that she includes, where does she say it? I talked to Kayla and she has absolutely no interest in him. In him, her boyfriend, like as if it's Kayla's responsibility and it's all one-sided. Kayla's gonna drive them apart or something. Like, what's more important is if he's interested in her, not what Kayla wants. I mean, it makes it easier for the boyfriend if Kayla's interested too. But it's more important what the boyfriend's interests and motives are. Right,
because even if obviously Kayla's not interested and they're not going to get together, the fact that he could potentially be interested in another woman when he's in a relationship is the concern.
Yeah.
Regardless of what comes of it.
Right.
But yeah, personally, I would say whether or not this means anything about his feelings towards her, again, he could just be extra courteous, but the phone call thing was kind of weird. But I personally would, after like, I don't know, the first or second time of the friend being over, like, acting as if she's a guest, I wouldn't really like it.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of bothered by it.
Right. I kind of agree. Let's see. I think the main thing that she needs to do is just talk to him about it and see what he says about it.
Well, there's an edit here that says,
go ahead.
I'll kind of summarize it, but she's just saying that they're going to be hanging out later this week. She's going to talk to him about it after they all hang out. If the behavior is the same, she'll talk to him that night. Someone below gave an example to approach in a non-accusatory way. That's what I'll do and make a decision after talking to him. I agree with that. You know, again, regardless of how early it is in the relationship, if you guys are serious with each other and want to be, communication is important. So if this is something that's bothering you, you know, it's important to bring it up. Right.
No, definitely. I think, let's see, the top comment here that says maybe he's trying to impress your friend. I think that's a good point.
Where are you reading that?
This one here.
Oh, I see.
Maybe he's trying to impress your friend, because that's a good point. Because, like, I don't know, your best friend is a big deal, right? So you want their input and you want their blessing, so to speak. Right. And so that could be that's a good possibility that he's just trying to be, like, over the top so that the friend is like, oh, yeah, no doubts. Cause
he's polite. And
Right.
And also here, the same comment says maybe he doesn't want her to feel like the third wheel, which I could understand, too, because, I don't know.
Right, especially if they're not all friends yet, you know, if he's just getting to know her.
Yeah, so he's like, look, like, we're not keeping you separate, and I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But this same comment also says, if I was in your situation, I would feel weird about it too. But I just talked to him about it. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think talk to him. I don't think there's anything, like, over the top weird here going on. I mean, we can't know, but I think it's maybe, like, concerning, especially if she hasn't been in this situation with her other friends yet. You know, if he hasn't tried to impress anybody. But it doesn't sound like there's any, like, bad feelings here or malintent or anything.
That was my thought too. Other people are saying, you know, like, he's just trying to make her feel comfortable, which is fully possible. I think if she, you know, wants to feel good about it, just ask to be sure. You know, or, you know, watch other behaviors, not just the offering first. Do you know what I mean? Does he try to sit really close to her? Does he, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's going too deep. But definitely, you know, bring it up if it's a concern. Yep. That's what I would think.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It sounds like they're going to talk anyway. So let's go to this next one.
Okay.
It says, I think my 22 female boyfriend, 25 male, mostly likes me because of my race. So she says, I've been seeing this guy for about 5 months. Everything has been going really well so far. I'm half Japanese, Korean, and half white. For reference, I've been told by multiple people, including him, that I look like Kiko Mizuhara. Love the compliment, by the way. I don't know who that is. It doesn't matter. So I've known since the beginning that he loves Japanese culture, no biggie, whatever. I've dated weeaboos, and it's never turned into a problem. Somehow my mom got brought up, and now I'm more Japanese than Korean.
And how I'm more.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay. And how I'm more Japanese. He got weirdly excited. It kind of weirded me out, but I let it go. Then he said that I shouldn't call myself white because I'm Hapa. What? I've never heard of that. Okay. Anyway, that pissed me off, but I didn't make a big deal out of it. Then he said something along the lines of, you're so lucky you got your best features from both races. And I was so grossed out. It escalated, and it basically ended with me saying that I felt fetishized, and then he sounded like he was into eugenics. He got angry because he said I called him a Nazi. I did not. I said what he sounded like he likes eugenics.
What he said sounded like.
Yeah, eugenics. He then proceeded to cry and say, it's not my fault. I have yellow fever? What?
Oh.
Whoa. Do I read that part?
I guess.
Yeah, right. And then the guy says, it's not my fault. I have yellow fever, and Japanese girls are tighter and more submissive. So that's interesting. I'm honestly afraid to tell our friends about it, but I'm pretty sure I'm done with him. I've had white guys do kind of racist stuff before, but never to this extent. All of our friends are white, and I'm afraid they'll think I'm overreacting or something. I don't know. I guess I'm just looking for some type of reassurance that what he said isn't okay. Thanks.
It's absolutely not okay.
I think anybody reading that secondhand, or even if you were firsthand involved in it would recognize that that's not okay.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
That's so weird.
Those are really offensive ways to say something too.
Yeah.
And it makes, especially that latter comment about Japanese girls is very objectifying and hateful.
It's super.
That makes it sound like, oh, I like you because you're an object to me.
Right. Yeah, because you're a sexual object to me.
Yeah.
Specifically the kind I'm looking for.
Yeah.
This is weird, but her comment about being fetishized by this dude, I think, is spot on.
Yeah. It's not like he's like, oh, I love your features. They're beautiful. Like, this is the kind of these are the kind of features I love and am attracted to. He's saying a lot of really inappropriate and hurtful things.
Yeah.
Because of her origin.
Right.
And I think that's not okay.
Right. Quick devil's advocate. If he hadn't said those things about yellow fever and Japanese girls being submissive and things like that, right? If he hadn't said those things, but he expressed, like he said, you're so lucky you got the best features from both races, that kind of stuff. Like, that still sounds kind of gross.
It does.
But if he hadn't said those weird phrases about Japanese girls and yellow fever and stuff like that, would it have been okay for him to express a preference or what am I trying to say? Like a preference for his attraction?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, as long as it's not something that makes her uncomfortable. So even if he didn't say those hurtful comments, or hateful comments rather, if it's bothering her, and it was before those two comments,
right? If
it's bothering her, she has every right to not feel comfortable in that relationship.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely, I don't know, he's definitely misguided, and he does have some interesting things to say. I think if we back away from this example, if a person was to say, like, I really like your skin type or your hair type or something like that, I think that would be way different than what he's saying here. So in his mind, he's probably like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with me liking, Japanese folk or something? And it's like, well, there isn't anything wrong, but what he likes about her, and especially how he's expressing it, I think is definitely wrong. Because right right off the bat, like it's clear based on his comments about yellow fever and stuff that like he just kind of sees it as like a sees her as like a sexual totem or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the wrong word for it, but he doesn't say anything, at least in the story, about how that connects to her at all.
Right. I was going to say, like, it's not like seeing her as a person.
Right. So I think her comments about her being fetishized is like 100% on.
Yeah. And even before, you know, she said even before those comments that she was feeling that way. And that is 100% like her choice to decide if something makes her comfortable or not.
Right.
And especially after those kind of comments, I don't think anybody would be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
This is totally different than having a preferential attraction to a certain race of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For your partner. Like everybody has a preference or multiple preferences.
Right, sure.
Based on whatever reasoning, how they were raised or, you know, just what they like. But it's different to like just find that attractive versus to have this kind of basis for finding it attractive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference between like, I think you're really cute and I think you're tight and submissive. That is so different.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
It is gross. It's absolutely gross.
Yeah. Especially because he's applying these. I've never, like, I don't know. I'm not saying I've heard all stereotypes, but I've never, like, even heard these stereotypes applied to Japanese people. But the fact that he's applying these sexual stereotypes to her, saying that's what he likes about her. Yeah. I don't know. No, that's rough.
Honestly, personally, I would not stay in a relationship like this for even a second longer.
Yeah. No, I think it's clear that all he likes about her is some projected idea of what she's supposed to be sexually to him, mm-hmm. and nothing more. Like when you get into an argument about this stuff and he starts crying and brings up what he wants out of her sexually is weird. It is. But so she says, I mean, I don't think this is really that important. She says, all of our friends are white and I'm afraid they'll think I'm overreacting. So I don't think you have to, like, I don't think your race matters here to know that that's grossly objectifying and just wrong.
And if they're your real friends, they're going to support your decision. Right. Plus, you don't have to justify your decision. Mm-hmm. Like, this is you and your relationship and your life. Like, don't stay with somebody just because you're worried about what your friends will think. Your true friends are going to support you. Yeah, no matter what. Yeah. No matter what your decision is. But yeah, I think that's a really great point is mm-hmm. like, it's your choice to be in a relationship with somebody. You don't mm-hmm. have to justify it to anybody else, especially when the relationship now at this point makes you really uncomfortable. Right. Yeah, I think she's going to get support from her friends, and hopefully she does. And the top comment says, whenever someone says, it's not my fault I have yellow fever, it's okay to run away screaming from them. Totally mm-hmm. agree. Yeah, somebody says he said it like he was a victim. Yeah. No. Yeah. Not at all. What about this one? As an Asian woman, whenever I hear yellow fever, it's a huge red flag. This tells me that the person is only dating me for my race. Yep, that's... Exactly. Like, you can be dating somebody that you find attractive because of your preference, but that shouldn't be the only reason you're dating somebody. Mm-hmm. Even if it wasn't based exclusively on race, but just on attraction to someone, there has to be way more than just physical attraction to stay with somebody. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? No, totally. But especially in this case, when it's someone's dating you only for your race and is very, obviously a very hateful person too, like... Yeah. I don't know, not cool. Yeah, there's some negative feelings behind thinking things like that. Major, and saying that. Yeah. Hold on. So she did actually say, so somebody said this guy's 100% fetishing you to the max. It's gross. No Asian person should touch him with a 10-foot pole. And the original poster followed up with, thank you, I'm ending things 100%. So it sounds mm-hmm. like she made her decision and realized, like, to the edit. Oh, for the edit. Thank you, everybody who responded. It means a lot to me.
she's decided to end things. I'll never be able to think about him the same way. Yeah, I agree. Her friends totally agree with her. Awesome. I feel so respected. Da, 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 da. Thanks again. You all made it easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Hold on. One more comment that like stuck out to me. Yeah, this person named More Gimme More is quoting, Japanese girls are tighter and more submissive. And then he says, yo, what the F is that? Dump him. And if anyone asks why and you care to explain, tell them about that phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then she even followed up and said, yeah, that's when I had to leave his house. I was so angry. I'm yet not used to feeling that way. Yeah, I think if a partner makes you feel that way, I think you have your answer already.
Yeah. Even before those two phrases, it was already making her uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he clearly was not a very nice guy, but as soon as he said those other two things, that would be the end of it. And I'm glad that she should put herself first and that her friends are supporting her too.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, that's just gross. All right, sounds like she has a good resolution.
Yeah, that's good.
Oof. I don't know. I wonder if any of you guys have ever heard things like this. Have any of you guys ever had somebody say things like this to you? And if they did, what was your response? Okay, that one good.
Yeah.
Let's see, do you want to read this one? Or you want me to read this one?
Sure, I can read this one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so next thread. My 30 female, low libido boyfriend, 33 male, 4 years, of 4 years.
Yeah, they just shorthanded it.
Is overexcited about me getting plastic surgery. So my low libido boyfriend of 4 years is overexcited about me getting plastic surgery. I've been wanting a couple procedures done for a while. I've had 3 kids and my body is not the same. We've broken up over his porn use and low libido in general. He's fixed it over the years, but the damage is done. He prefers porn and teen girls. When I make actual plans and payment or saving actions, he acts very verbally encouraging and excited about me getting a boob job and tummy tuck. Like, Daddy won't be able to get off Mommy then. Maybe I'm delusional in thinking my body isn't deformed, just average. Or maybe he is delusional in what he expects because of porn. I have a heart arrhythmia and worry about being accepted for optional surgery. It hurts me he shows no concern, only excitement.
Yeah.
Well, my first thought is
Go ahead.
This doesn't sound like somebody you want to be with.
Yeah.
This guy, but
Yeah.
I won't summarize too quickly.
No, we
can
gotta
actually
explore
get
it
into
more
it.
than that. Yeah.
So the first thing she says is she's been wanting procedures done for a while. So my first thought is if this is something that she wants exclusively because she wants it, then she should have every right to do that. I know a lot of women have surgery after having children because it does change their body and they want to feel like their old selves again. So I would think, if that was her motivation, that, she should make her own decisions. But it obviously seems like there's some degree to which this is being influenced by her boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess to reiterate that, yeah, I mean, if she's doing it for herself, then that's one thing. If she's doing it because she feels pressured by him, that's another thing. The other thing that she's bringing up here is his low libido, and she says this a couple times, but then she goes on to say that he's, where is it? Did she say he was porn addicted?
Yeah. They broke up over porn use,
and
he prefers porn and teen girls.
Right. So like okay, on one end supposedly he has low libido, and then she goes on to say like he prefers porn and that they've broken up over the use of it. Now, I agree that you can probably have low libido and porn use in the same sentence, but if she's making a point to say that he prefers pornography over her, I think that's what she's actually saying by the low libido. Like if he's like if she's trying to like rouse him and he's like, no, I'm not there, I'm not interested tonight or whatever, I'm not feeling it right. But then he goes and like, turns on the computer or something, like that's completely different. That's not low libido. That's him turning her down even though he wants to.
Right. I think to me, that indicates what she says here is maybe he's delusional in what he expects because of porn.
Right.
That was my, like, immediate thought was
Yep.
not that, you know, not to do with libido and not because she is not an attractive person, but because he's come to expect unrealistic
expectations of another human.
Yeah, because of porn, which
right.
is absolutely 100% possible. Most porn out there, you know, largely misrepresents women and what they should look like and how they should act and how much they enjoy things. And
men too, but in a different way.
Right, but I think more so.
Yeah.
There's more of a negative image for women.
Totally.
And an unrealistic image. And I think it's more based on that. You know, a lot of men grow up watching porn, and I don't know, I feel like the way that they respond to that and develop their sex life is different for everybody, but a lot can be massively impacted by their porn use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think that is definitely, I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but I think that's definitely one way in which, like, at least in the United States, men and women are raised differently, is for whatever reason, parents choose not to talk to their kids, like, en masse about sexual stuff or any kind of sexual education. Mm-hmm. And you get, you know, boys overwhelmingly being drawn to pornography to, in quotes, learn about sex, right? And so, like, it's I don't know, it's not a difficult topic necessarily, but it's a much more long-winded one to talk about that. I think bringing it back to our situation here in our relationship, he definitely has unrealistic expectations of the person, and I don't think it's unfair for me to say that, like, he should still be, like, he should still be into the person. Like, if he wants some sort of, like, sexual gratification, like, he's in a relationship, he can negotiate that with his partner, right? Like, but then he comes around and says, like, oh, after she gets a boob job and tummy tuck, in quotes, daddy won't be able to get off mommy.
Well,
like,
I don't think he said that, but she's suggesting that
okay.
That's what it's going to be like because he'll be excited about how she looks.
That language she uses is kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's just really unfair to her.
I think so,
you know,
too.
Like, if that's something that she wants to do for herself, like, absolutely do it for yourself. Love yourself first. But she's feeling like she needs to transform herself into something from his pornography that's this fantasy version of a human female, which doesn't match. I don't know. I haven't met everybody in the world, but I'm pretty sure that the people that you see in porn are never supposed to match anybody that you'd actually find in the real world. Mm-hmm. And he has... No, she says she's delusional. No,
she says maybe
no.
I'm delusional and thinking my body isn't deformed, just average.
Oh, well,
You're not delusional.
No.
The majority of us have... I don't even know if I like the word average because that sounds like less than ideal.
Right.
The majority of us don't look like women from porn, and that's not a bad thing.
Mm-mm.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
And I'm not slamming on those women either. You know, they do modifications and
that's their line of work, though. That's exercise. Like saying...
That's what I'm about to say. Is they do things because that's what they have to do for their work. Right. That's how they have to look. And they work really hard to do that. Right. And that's perfectly fair. I'm just saying that you're not delusional because you don't look like that.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like any other actor. Like,
yeah.
The average thing. Like, I don't like the average thing either, but no, she's not delusional. Like, she should try to love her body, you know, any way that she can or wants to, but I think he's definitely got some unreal expectations derived from his pornography use.
Right.
You know what I mean? That gives him this, like, that gives him this desire of something that's mostly unrealistic for, I don't mind using the word average in this point, for average people, the kind of people who like have to work for a living and you know what I mean, have
Don't
a lot
have
of things on their
time.
plate and don't have time
Don't have
for
time to, like,
4 to 6 hour workout
Yeah.
regimens with ridiculous food and
Yeah.
diet requirements. Anyway, getting away from that. I think
near the end she talks about her heart arrhythmia and she's worried
Yeah.
about surgery and he doesn't show concern. Again, I hope that some of or most of her motivation here is for herself. Like she said at the beginning, she's been wanting procedures, because please do not go under something like this for somebody else. You know what I mean? It is a very serious thing to have these kinds of procedures done, and I don't know if, you know, she's also being encouraged because she wants to impress him. But I don't know. Honestly, my feeling here is do the, or at least not do the procedures. Make your choice, but consider them if you want them for yourself, so you can feel good about yourself. But please don't do so because this boyfriend thinks you'll be hotter. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, do
That's
not
just really
do not
sad.
risk your life
Yeah.
hoping that you will gain some acceptance from someone who obviously, I'm going to jump to it, doesn't seem to care about you that much.
Right.
A person who genuinely cares about you in a relationship is going to raise concerns about the fact that your health may not jive with these operations before they're going to be like, hey, my libido might increase if you get some boob jobs and stuff. Like, that's terrible.
My first thought is
He doesn't care
exactly
about
the
her.
same. Is in a loving relationship, one, I would think you would not want somebody or expect somebody to change. And unless they wanted to as well and you wanted to support them, again, you should still be majorly concerned about such a serious operation.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I don't know. This guy doesn't seem like a very nice guy to me. But
I don't think so. I mean, do what you got to do, you know, and everybody wants to be loved and all that stuff, but I feel like he's got a worse influence than a positive one. I don't think he's helping you. Top comment says basically says that her boyfriend is a punk.
well, just read it.
See, I got confused because of the title. It says 32M, but what you described is punk-ass little bitch boy. Get over him. You're a mother. If you want the surgery for yourself, do it. But if it's for his opinion of you to grow, don't. 100%. Oh, she followed up. She said, honestly, I wish I could kick him out and get the procedures done and pick up my kids in a little swimsuit this summer, giving him the middle finger. You love teen porn stars so much. Have fun. LOL. I look good for being 30 with 3 kids, but... And then somebody says, why can't you kick him out? Interesting.
Yeah. I was going to say...
My mom starts watching him for work? Who's she talking about? Her kids or the boyfriend? Or is the boyfriend just one of those kids at this point? I just really hoped porn wouldn't ruin us. One of our sons died. We've been through so much. Oh my gosh.
That's hard.
That just got heavy. Yeah. Ooh,
Very
weird.
sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I wonder too if part of why, you know, she doesn't
Because
just
they have a
separate
past.
is because, well, not only they have a past,
Yeah.
but that, you know, they support each other too.
Yeah.
Whether,
Good point.
you know, just financially or also emotionally and,
Right.
you know, helping take care of kids and everything. So it's probably not as easy as just like get out, but I think there's definitely some serious issues here that need to be fleshed out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it was easier before I read that just to say like she shouldn't. It doesn't sound like he cares about her very much, but it's interesting because she says one of our sons died and we've been through so much. So, I mean, it sounds like there is a past there, and maybe they do support each other in one way or the other. Maybe just not sexually,
right?
You know, and that's rough. But I don't know. It's hard for us to say now with that new information, but. Before that, I don't think he's considerate, and I don't think his expectations of another human is very realistic.
Agreed. Yeah.
I don't know. I think he needs to I don't know. I think he needs to ground himself a little bit more and realize that the things that he's watching on TV are just that. They're on TV. They're make-believe.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He needs to get real.
I agree. Again, that's very hard to hear about what they've gone through.
Yeah.
But I still think she needs to, consider herself and her feelings first. Take care of herself, and her kids, and I don't know, do what's right for her and not for somebody else.
Yep. All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay.
So this is our last one. Am I reading this? You reading this?
I think I'm supposed to read this one. I don't know if this is too serious or not, but...
Okay. Yeah, no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. It says, I, 22 male, was sexually assaulted by a girl at a party, and my girlfriend, 23 female, walked in on it happening. She broke up with me after slapping me in the face, and now I'm devastated. Okay. Hi, I'm a 22 male senior year in college. My girlfriend is a 23 female in grad school at the same university. We've been dating for 6 months, and everything was going well, or so I thought. Over the weekend, we both attended a party and got quite a bit drunk. At one point, I got up to go to the bathroom, and another woman followed me into the bathroom and started forcing herself on me. I tried to make her stop, but she whispered in my ear, if you scream, I'll tell them you raped me. Now shut the F up. I began crying, but she proceeded to do things to me which I never wanted to do with anyone ever, and I never wanted to be forced. After a few minutes, or eternity, whichever's longer, my girlfriend went to find me and threw open the bathroom door to find me being assaulted. Her first instinct was to scream, which attracted a crowd. My rapist assailant backed away and, like a deer in headlights, gasped and pointed at me and said he started it. At that point, my girlfriend tried to kick my testicles, but thankfully I protected them. She immediately smacked my face while I was busy protecting my crotch. Then she ran out of the party and texted me, never talk to me again, ever, scumbag. If you do, I'll get the police involved. I tried responding back that I didn't choose what had happened and I was a victim, not the instigator, but she doesn't believe me at all. I went to the campus public safety office, and they tried to ask me questions as if I was the person doing the assaulting. I ended up leaving before I got in trouble myself. I'm devastated and don't know where to turn. She hates my guts and thinks I tried to seduce or assault another woman, when really it is the opposite of what actually happened.
Man, there is so much crap in this.
Yeah, that's...
I don't know, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
So I
think we need to start out by saying that if someone is sexually assaulted, they're not in the wrong.
No, 100%.
Whether you're a man or a woman, it's not okay for anybody to do something to you that you do not want.
100%. 100%. The perpetrator is the sole person responsible for the act. Yep. I think that's important. Thanks for saying that.
Having said that,
yep.
We'll try to analyze,
right,
a little more.
Okay, let's just go through it a little bit. Okay, so he's at a party and a woman follows him into the bathroom and forces herself on him. So there's I don't think we really need to analyze like strength or anything like
right.
that part's not important. They're both, or at least he is drunk, and someone forces themselves on him. Okay. He tries to break up the act, which is like totally valid. That's the first thing you'd think to do. And then she says, if you scream, I'm going to tell everybody that you raped me. Now shut up. That's crazy. I mean, do we even talk about what you do at this point?
Well, and that's a difficult thing because not only, I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, well, you should have just forced yourself out or something, but that's not fair to say when you're in this kind of situation.
That's a good point.
You're emotionally stunted as well. So, just saying, oh, well, you should have just gotten out of it. Like, you're in a bad situation that's making you feel probably frozen, I would imagine.
Right.
And obviously upset. So, just wanted to cover that first because I don't want people jumping to that conclusion. But that's another big deal is with the culture that we have, I don't know where this is written from, but in many cultures, there's a concern that, well, how am I trying to say this?
People
There's
are going
an
to
idea.
falsify things?
Well, not only that, but there's that like men, that this doesn't happen to men, or that,
Yep, good point.
they won't believe the man, or they'll, you know what I mean? And so I imagine, like, if this is happening to a man and he hears what she says to him, that's got to be frightening, you know what I mean?
Right.
While she's doing this to him. Because he probably has that concern that people will believe what she says, you know what I mean?
Right.
Even though she's doing this to me.
Right. Yeah, right away. I mean, somebody's physically assaulting him, and at the same time, like, sort of uses scare tactics or fear to get to further push him into submission by saying, by threatening him to basically say, like, I'm going to socially, if not like criminally, ruin you if you don't comply with what I want.
Right.
I mean, that's tough. Like, even like myself in that situation, like, it's easy for me on the outside to say, like, if I even got into this situation, like, I'd try and get myself away immediately before a person even has the chance to utter threats like that. But who's to say she doesn't come running out of the bathroom immediately and just tries to scream bloody murder about how you attacked her,
right,
just because you didn't give her the opportunity, right? So there's all kinds of weirdness going on there, but it doesn't matter. He was shocked. She threatened him further. So she goes ahead and she carries out, the assault on him, doing these various acts. He's forced to basically stay there. And after a while, his girlfriend comes into the bathroom and finds them. Her first instinct was to scream. I totally get that. Which attracted a crowd. The assailant backed away. So I think it's interesting too, because I don't know. I don't think this is wrong to say, but I think, like, the first thing is, if I came in the room and I saw something going on with you, but let's pretend that you're not the assailant, right? You're the victim here. If I come in the room and I see you with somebody else, like, yeah, I'm gonna lose it. But at the same time, like, that image, which I guarantee would be burned in my head, I'd be able to analyze, and I feel like I would be able to analyze and see who was in, like, the power position.
Right.
Like, whether this is part of your culture or not, like, you can, what do you call it? Usually with sexual activity, people talk about, like, tops and bottoms, and the top is always, like, the power position, or the one that's, like, controlling what's going on. And I feel like he'd be able to see that the perpetrator was acting as the top in some kind of way, right? Maybe not.
The girlfriend would see this?
Yeah, would be able to see that the perpetrator was like controlling the action somehow.
Right.
So maybe it's not, like, cut and dry, but
well, it's hard because we don't know what
what
situation she
good point.
found them in.
Good point.
And, like, it could have been really quick, so it was hard to analyze in time.
Right.
But I know what you mean, because I'm thinking personally between you and I.
Yeah.
And we have a different relationship, so I don't know if it's fair to compare, but if I saw this, I would know that you did not do it intentionally. And I think if you saw me in the same situation, you would know that someone was forcing themselves on me.
But at the same time, if you were to break through that door and see your partner in a top position, and I don't mean on top, I just mean as a top, not a bottom, you would immediately think this person willingly are doing what they're doing.
Right.
Versus when you're in a bottom role, or like a more submissive role sometimes as it's seen, then you could, I mean, after days, of being away from the situation, you could analyze it to say, like, maybe what he's saying was true, that he was being taken advantage of. So that's a data point. That's not the focus, of course, of what's going on here. But I think that's an interesting data point to relay to the girlfriend, is to think about it, whether she wants to or not.
Well, and again, like I said, it depends too on, like, how she found them and, like, how quick it was.
Of course.
Because it could have been, like, they looked like they were close and then they separated, like, the moment the door opened. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to analyze there that we're not privy to, obviously.
Right. And also, I just want to say too that, like, I don't know. I probably, first thing I would see, or feel if I saw something like that, with a woman in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Even if my rational mind knew that, like, you wouldn't do that to me, or or whatever, I would initially be really upset as well. I would think you're cheating on me, and I'd be super upset.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't blame her initial response. You know, I don't know, smacking his face, I guess in that kind of emotional scenario, somebody might do something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
She doesn't know what's happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
From what she's seen or heard, at least, especially, you know, the perpetrator yelling, he started it. You know, she believes that in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
She's upset.
Yeah.
But let's see. So it looks like then she texts him, "Don't talk to me again," and he tries writing back, but she doesn't believe him about what happened.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Nothing you can do there, at least right now. Like, there's no way that you can talk to somebody when things are fresh like this. Like, neither, I don't want to say neither. The other person, the partner who walked in, is not going to be able to think clearly about any of it right now. It's all just it's too raw. It's too emotional. But here's the other part that really sucks about this whole thing is I went to the campus public safety office, so like the local police on campus, and tried to talk to them. But he says that they ended up questioning him as if he was the sexual assault perpetrator.
Right.
And this is interesting because I don't know if we kind of touched on this earlier, but like we have this culture, at least in the United States, where males are the perpetrator of all sexual violence on other men or women in general.
Right.
And I mean, I don't have the statistics with me, but the important thing is that anybody can commit sexual assault. And especially as a public safety officer or a police officer or somebody helping the community, you shouldn't immediately assume, you know, one, if a guy's showing up that he did it,
right,
or two, like, oh, what are you complaining about? Isn't that what you wanted? Like, get out of here. You're wasting our time. Because that's another thing that comes up a lot. And it's like, that's ridiculous.
It is.
That's ridiculous that people actually, that people take that notion seriously.
Right. No, and that's what's really unfortunate is, again, like you said, I don't have the statistics either. Even if the majority of assaults are perpetrated by men,
sure,
they can also be by women.
Yep.
And regardless of, you know, who's who, it's assault. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that you can't even go to law enforcement to get help because of this culture where males aren't the victims is really unfortunate. And I think that's something that's coming up more currently in, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, in the public eye, is that males can also be victims in art. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're seeing a lot of that with the Me Too movement, and even men coming out about other men that have perpetrated them.
Yep.
Or, you know, in some cases women as well. And so I think we need to be open to the fact that anybody can be a victim.
Right. Yeah.
Or if you prefer the term survivor, do you know what I mean? Anyone can be a survivor of assault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the fact that the police basically caved his world in a little bit more by not helping him and believing the opposite of what he brought to them is just hurting the situation more by making him feel more alone.
Yeah, exactly.
And like nobody's gonna help him. So,
and that's just to touch on that really quickly. Regardless of whether it's a man or a woman doing the reporting, that's a huge issue. If you're making somebody feel like they shouldn't be reporting, you're already
terrible at your job.
Well, yeah, but even more, you're already negating the issue of people not reporting in the first place.
Yeah.
So you're making it even harder for people to get help.
Right. You're basically saying,
or to want to get help.
Yeah. You're basically perpetuating, don't come to us with this because we're not going to do anything about it.
Right, which unfortunately is also a large part of this culture is not enough, I don't know, not being believed and not being helped.
Yeah. So, anyways, he says she hates my guts and thinks I tried to seduce or assault another person when it's really the opposite of what happened. So he doesn't really put out a claim for like, hey, what should I do? But I think we could imply that enough.
Well,
I think, what?
No, sorry. I want to say before we read the top comment, like, do you have any suggestions or what you would,
Yeah, if I was in that situation, If I had been assaulted, went to the police, I'd reach out to, I mean, like, you got to do as much as you can, even if people keep turning you away. Like, you can't, you know, you can't let them instill the like lack of help. Like, someone's going to help you. You have to keep looking. So I guess the first thing I would do is go to the off-campus police and talk to them about it. Hopefully they take it seriously. He should be talking to his friends if he has any, or any kind of like peers or supervisors that he thinks he might be able to get help from. As far as talking to his girlfriend though, like there's nothing he can do immediately. Like, I think, it just depends, but it's way too fresh for her to listen to anything. All she's going to be able to see are those images in her head, and it's going to mess her up. So I think in time, and I don't know what kind of time that is, he needs to reach out to her or use like a proxy if they share friends to be like, to try and reach out to her, but give her enough time. Like, if it's like happened on Friday, maybe even like Monday is still too soon to try and talk to her, but the person needs time to get it out of their head a little bit so they're not thinking about it. And then hopefully you'll be able to get a couple words in, and then eventually, best case scenario, the officials actually support you and do their job. And then, he can follow up with getting the officials to generate some kind of something that she can glean from. I mean, it's still going to be hard from her, whether it was like, whether she believes him or not, it's still going to be hard because of what she saw. But hopefully in time she can learn the truth, and it can make a difference to put their relationship back together.
Well, I was going to say, if he really, values the relationship and wants to try there, that yes, maybe reach out to her more in time and see. But at the same time, if she's never going to listen to him or believe him, maybe, like, that's not the right relationship to be in anyway.
I see what you're saying.
So he shouldn't try just for the sake of trying if it's not someone he really wants to be with. And even if he does, like, it sounds like if she's never going to hear him out, that maybe she's not the right person for him anyway.
That's a very good point that I didn't even think of.
Not supportive, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if she can't support him through a devastating event in his life, right? Like, maybe you don't want that partner to begin with.
Right.
That's hard. That's a hard way to find that out, though.
Well, it is, but I mean,
no, I agree. In time, if she won't listen to him, if she won't hear it, then she can't be that support that he's going to need in his life.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to say was about the, like, reaching out to other law enforcement or whatever for support. I would say do that to the extent that you want to, because I know that going to people about something this, like, hurtful and personal and devastating, it's probably hard to keep doing it over and over.
Good point.
And keep getting denied. So if he still feels like he wants, a solution, at least legally or punitively, that try reaching out to a different group, but I don't know, maybe don't exhaust yourself doing it if it's just making it harder for you to live with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a very valid thing. Constantly talking about these things and bringing it up to people, whether they believe you or not, is going to be difficult anyway. So you got to do what you think is right for you.
Right, share as much as you are comfortable with.
Right.
Maybe a support group would also be a good place to turn.
Right.
For somebody, people that are going to support you and believe you, because clearly the girlfriend is not, and neither is campus police. So, that's a tough scenario to be in. But let's go to the top comment.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm so sorry this happened to you. You need to know you did absolutely nothing wrong. Secondly, if your girl won't even take the time to hear you, is she really worth keeping in the first place? While many believe men cannot be assaulted, this is so far from the truth. Please tell someone you know very close about this. Yeah, totally agree. Again, he is not at fault in any way in this scenario.
No.
Again, if the girlfriend doesn't want to be supportive at all and even, like, hear it, maybe she's not right for him. And again, also, as this person says, men can also be assaulted. So, yeah, and tell someone very close about this. Yeah, if you're not getting any support from the girlfriend or from law enforcement who's supposed to be there for you, I hope you have somebody that you can turn to so you don't feel alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can say anything better than that.
Yeah.
That's a hard one, but yeah, he's got I don't know. He has a couple suggestions, and I think the most important thing is that he finds what's going to help him the most or what he feels most comfortable with and try and pursue those avenues, because there's plenty of things that he can do legally.
Right.
But, if he's not comfortable with doing them or he doesn't want to, like, that's...
Right.
You got to go the road that you want to walk, so...
Right, but I agree with you, as you said earlier, that if that's something he wants to do, another person says, here, like, go to a lawyer. And, yeah, and another comment I'm reading, a few people might blame you for this. This might not be the best sub for advice. That was something I was worried about reading in the comments, is people blaming. Because we live in a victim-shaming culture, unfortunately. But, anyway, I realize we're probably getting long-winded on this podcast today.
That's fine.
But...
So anyway, yeah, best of luck on that one. You got to do what you want and what you're comfortable with, but hopefully you find some sort of resolution.
And some support.
And some support,
and
yeah.
know that, what happened to you was not your fault and not...
Yep.
I don't know, yeah.
Yep.
So I guess we can summarize what we've looked at.
Yeah, so the boyfriend who's paying unnecessary attention to the friend's best friend, should she be worried? Probably not, but she just should talk to him just bring it up and figure it out. I think my boyfriend mostly likes me because of his race or because of her race. That dude is trash, and I'm glad that she's ending it with him.
Agreed.
That dude was terrible. My low libido boyfriend of 4 years is overexcited about me getting plastic surgery. There's some complexities there because of their past and sharing a loss and things like that, but it doesn't sound like he's sexually supportive or supportive of your realistic body image.
Right.
I don't know.
And you need to make the right decision for you and not because of what somebody else wants.
Right. And to the guy that was assaulted, again, you have to figure out,
what path you want
to take on this, and it's super unfortunate that this happens to people. But he didn't do anything wrong, and
know that you should be supported and believed.
Right, absolutely. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining us again. We're going to try and do another one twice a week with maybe a new Reddit, so stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. This is Marmot
and Mink,
and we'll see you next time.